It's gonna happen on the fly. All right, but it's all right because we have the ISOs recording. Correct. So.
But also just the unseen realm going on around.
What video did that have?
A lot of past Christians, they were very mild about this.
Sound like a squirrel.
But for some reason,
laugh. He has a disability.
Oh.
Too late.
Too late.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Oh. Welcome to Punchie TV.
Welcome to Punchie TV with your hosts.
Welcome to Punchie TV. I am Punchie with your host, Punchie, from JesseLeePeterson.com show. Oh, Joel Friday, the host of the... What am I saying about you? The American Anchor Baby. The host of the American Anchor Baby show. James Hake, a host of the Hake Report. Welcome to Punchie TV. Punchie.
Welcome to Punchie TV. We have a special guest today. Mr. Anthony Morris.
Son.
He is in the building. Oh, shoot. I'm like, son, what are you talking about? We have Mr. Anthony Morris, son.
What's up?
In the building. What's going on, Anthony?
It's pronounced Morrison.
Yes.
Oh, crap. This staying in.
He says son.
Staying in. All right.
It sounds funnier that way.
Morris, son.
You were simply following his instruction.
You said what?
You were following his instruction because he said son.
So. We have Anthony Morrison in the building.
What's up?
What's going on, Anthony? Anthony is a Bond Church attendee, so he's familiar with the message a little bit and all that good stuff. Welcome to Punchie TV.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. We're happy to have you. Also, Anthony has a wedding photography business. That's correct?
Yes.
Him and his wife take wedding photos, and they're wedding photographers. They have their own photography business. If you're interested or know somebody that's interested, you can check out his Instagram at Anthony M Jr. Photography on Instagram. Is that right?
That's right. Yep. Me and my wife, we shoot all over Southern California, all over the country actually, but primarily in Southern California.
Nice.
Shout out to Kat.
Nice. Shout out to Kat. She also comes to the church.
Yeah, that's the British girl. If y'all heard us, probably derailing church. So forgive us.
Or maybe
with relationship questions for Jesse. So forgive us.
No, it's always good.
Yeah.
But also, is it just wedding photography or is it just
all kinds of photography?
Oh, okay.
Primarily weddings.
Do you do pet photography?
Yeah, I'll shoot your dog if you want.
Nice.
What do you want me to take photos
Well,
of?
Christy Noam shot a dog too, by the way.
Nice.
But that's a different type of shot.
Oh.
He's talking about shots. Hagen's talking about shots.
You got to get Hassan's dog in here and get some shots.
Yeah.
Nice. So it's not just wedding photography, it's whatever. So if you know anybody or you're interested, Anthony will hook you guys up, and his wife, Kat, as well. Amazing stuff. So Anthony is married and has children.
Yes.
So we're going to talk a little bit family, a little bit manhood, and all that stuff. But the first thing I wanted to talk to Anthony about, and all of us here, we get into it, is the abortion topic, right? Because that's like obviously a popular thing that people like to get into, especially political. Abortion is now, to me, has gotten politicized.
Yeah.
To where it's like now you're on a side, you either for it or against it, or with it pro-choice or pro.
It used to be pro-life. Now they call it anti-abortion.
Oh, okay. Anti-abortion, pro-life. Now there's all these different categories, right? And then people are fighting who's who, and then they hate each other, and you get in a fight and over abortion, right? So it's become politicized. It's not just a conversation. It's like a big thing now. And I have some clips I want to show, we want to show you about some of these issues and kind of get your opinion, and we all kind of get in on it. There's this channel called Live Action, and this is where abortion providers meet with abortion regretters at a round table and talk about their experience with abortion.
I got pregnant at 17 and had an abortion using RU-486 drugs. And then 7 months later, I got pregnant again and had another abortion using RU486 drugs.
Yes, I had multiple abortions, 5. I did the surgical abortion with the suctioning during first trimester. And I had also the medical, the abortion pill.
I also had multiple abortions. I had 3 at the age of 19, and they were all surgical. And then I worked as an employee behind the doors of Planned Parenthood.
What kind of abortions were you involved with as an employee at Planned Parenthood?
So it was a D&C and the dismemberment also. Up to 20 weeks was involved.
What's the DNC again?
Nice.
The Democratic National
They mentioned it. It's I don't know exactly the terms,
I forget what it
but
is.
it's where they actually
dismember the child.
Dismember the child, yeah.
But
But look it up real quick.
DNC and dismemberment.
Oh, D and C,
that's extra
dilation
evil.
and curettage. Curettage.
Okay, there you go.
What's
surgical
curettage?
procedure that can be used for an abortion. Gets graphic.
What's just
Wait, no, it doesn't. Hold on. Removes tissue from inside your uterus.
Oh, thanks.
So they dilate you, and they remove tissue.
Trying
Trying to get the deets here.
Scraping with a curette. Curette.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
what that is? Yeah.
Whatever a curette is.
Scraping with a curette.
They don't tell you all this when
I know,
they're
I'm
about to
like
give
getting
one.
lightheaded. When these people actually talk about what it is. That they,
Well, this is where let's move on, because this is the next lady explains. She's the abortionist, so she gave the abortions.
Okay.
Here's where the abortionist speaks on what the abortion process looks like.
And I was on the other side. I probably did 500 abortions. And I also had an abortion, which is why I think I was so gung-ho, so pro-abortion when I started my residency, because I had my own abortion just prior to entering medical school, because I thought if I was pregnant, I wouldn't be able to become a doctor.
What kind of abortion did you have, Dr. Altman?
D&C with suction.
Can you just explain briefly what a D&E abortion is?
So a D&E, or as it's also called and is more descriptive, a dismemberment abortion. During that, usually you have to dilate the cervix ahead of time, usually the day before, with some laminaria, something that will expand the cervix. And then you go in with a suction tube to remove the fluid and bring the baby down lower into the uterine cavity so that you can then reach in with a forceps and with a clamp, and you just try to grab whatever you can grab and pull and twist, and the cervix is smaller than the baby, so the baby will be held back, and as you pull, you can pull off an arm or a leg, and once you've gotten all the arms and legs, then you try to go back. And I always tried to get the head next, because if you got the thorax and pelvis and just left the head, you have this little round ball that's trying to get away from you. So I would try to get the head, and as Dr. Levatino has described in the past, you know when you've gotten the head because the white brains leak out. So then I would just check to make sure that all of the walls of the uterus seemed to be a little scratchy, and I didn't have anything else. You know, I would put the suction back in, make sure she wasn't bleeding too much, and then I'd let her go to recovery.
Is she upset when she's talking? She's like breaking down, or is that her voice?
No, that it seems like she's sad. It kind of has. Well, she was an abortioner,
right?
So I think that she's coming to this round table and they're just talking about their regret. And the doctor is telling how they regret it, and then the abortionists, nurse, regretters, are talking about how they regret doing it. So I think that she's just emotional because of the topic at hand and being a woman.
It's so evil I can barely listen to it. I had to watch myself as I'm sitting here listening to it because it's so evil.
And and for one, I didn't know it was that gruesome that they do it like that. They don't speak on that.
I'm glad I don't know what a cervix is. But It sounded it was explicit, and that's so explicit. Are you gonna cut some of that out for YouTube?
No, maybe I didn't know I should.
I mean, I
I
would for my own taste and sensibilities.
Why would YouTube care? It's just a medical procedure, right? I thought she was quite professional.
It's just a clump of cells.
It was just describing what goes on.
What goes on. But I like it that because it almost gives a clear representation of what is actually happening. See how she said in the beginning, she said a D and E, what was the first thing?
Yeah, at first they said D and C.
D and C.
They said D and E.
But she said a more descriptive one is the detachment.
Dismemberment. Yeah. I know what dismember
which they're
means.
not going to use that term because it's way too descriptive.
I mean, just looking it up while we were doing that dilation and that's not really telling me what this person just told me.
Exactly. Exactly. What do you, being that you have, children and stuff, what is that like?
It's called reproductive health care, people.
Yes.
Yeah. Why are you guys acting cavemen?
Weird about it?
Cavemen.
Just a little dismemberment, Just for transparency reasons, I just want to say, this is kind of one of those things that's close to home for me because, my son, when he was born, they actually tried to get Catherine to have an abortion because Catherine had a few complications with her pregnancies. And so they were saying that, you might have a little complication, so you might want to think about getting an abortion. Matter of fact, we encourage you guys to go ahead and get an abortion. And we just looked at each other like, what the?
Wow.
That ain't happening.
Yeah.
So, they were really kind of pushing it as we got closer. And I'm
casually
just pushing the abortion. And, man, when I look at my son now, and I'm just like, I'm so glad that I never even doubted or questioned that at all.
Yeah.
And her, they're both fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
You would never know. Yeah, it's interesting, though, too, how I never in my whole life have ever stopped to comprehend what actually goes on as I seen as this woman is explaining it. Because you understand what she's saying, how when it's done, the process is done, when you pull the baby out, it's probably so, what's the proper word to use? Say tender.
Yes.
Because the bones are all it's in the water. Mm-hmm. So you pull it out, then it's gonna pull apart because you got to take it out the stomach. Yeah. But that's not. They don't talk about that.
The fruit roll-up effect.
Right. Right.
When you're pulling, that's crazy. It's crazy to think about it like that, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, Joel, but you put it in words.
Yeah.
You sinned. I didn't do that.
It's controversial to show up at pro-life rallies with pictures of what the kids look like. What the bodies of these kids look like, because that's too upsetting. People freak out over it.
So they don't use it.
A lot of times they don't. There's people who are, that's unclassy to show in your face what this looks like. And I kind of understand it because I don't really want to look at it either.
See that, yeah.
But people do it.
Yeah. But then it's like, then it goes to the other extreme. The other extreme to where I don't feel like it should be hidden. Right. It should be appropriate. Yeah. But I also should be it's underrepresented how crazy it is.
Because they use all these euphemisms.
Yeah.
Reproductive rights.
Yeah.
Right. And another interesting thing that I noticed about the whole abortion thing is you ever notice the word that they use, fetus? So they use this word fetus because they don't want you to call it a baby.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so what it is they want to disassociate baby with with fetus so that you can, so whenever you are trying to destroy something, you always have to dehumanize it first. Yeah. It's like a parallel like what they did with the Jews. Yeah. So Hitler and the Nazis tried to dehumanize them first, and then you can destroy it.
So you don't feel so guilty about doing 100%. The act.
Now they're doing that with Trump supporters, garbage.
Yeah, yes.
They're doing it with Nazis, punch Nazis.
Mm-hmm. It's like
they're doing it with babies, fetuses.
A false way to justify your actions.
Yeah. It's a psychological disassociation that you have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I heard a lot of these babies that are so-called deemed to maybe have problems. Maybe they do, but they end up surviving. They end up having full lives.
Yeah.
I wonder, wow, that's just playing God and all that. So Even if you
exactly
could
it.
tell the baby's going to have an issue, or you can't really know what's going to happen.
And you know what? Women
Right.
tend to be fear-driven, and they overdid the shutdowns.
Yeah.
They hurt themselves doing the shutdowns. They're angry. They're scared. That's not good for you. You stop living. You go out. You stop going outside. You gain 10 pounds or 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And same thing, like out of fear, you just go with the abortion.
Yeah.
Just because you're afraid.
And I'm wondering too if these doctors and nurses encourage it,
Right?
Just because they're told to do it,
Or for money, or who knows?
Exactly.
There's a bag in there.
Yeah, and but see, that's what I was gonna ask you too, because it's also like by default, the person who's not the doctor, doesn't know exactly what to do all the time.
Right.
So they blindly trust the doctor's opinion because they're thinking that the doctor's thinking about their best interest in mind. So they're like, oh, abortion's the best option? Well, he must be right. Let's just do that. And then you end up...
You turn your life over to the experts.
Yeah,
who don't even really care about your own life.
Yeah.
And then going back to the bag, did you see that the three ladies on the right, they all have multiple abortions. So it's like, you know how much they're getting from that?
I know.
At 19?
Well, see, hold that.
Abortions at age 19.
Hold that thought, because there's more clips that are going to get to what you're saying. Here's where the abortion regretters speak on how they view the abortionist.
What does it feel like to talk to a former, for those who have experienced abortion, had abortions, and you yourself too, Dr. Allman?
I kind of compartmentalized or pushed the doctors, the staff, to the back of my mind, intentionally tried to forget everything that would happen behind those doors. And so this is really informative, and it is a bit of a shock. This wasn't just a experience or quick fix, is what they like to call it, but this was an entire process of murder.
Not only did I have to forgive my partner, that was pretty passive, but I had to forgive all who failed, right? Society with their lies, the educators came in my school when I was a little girl, like they failed me, like you failed me, right? And so now that I'm publicly speaking, as a former worker, I know the courage that it takes, and I know that you're doing reparation for what was done, and I just want to thank you for your courage.
How do you feel the abortionist failed you?
What is this dark seance vibe I'm getting from this? I'm getting a dark occult seance
That's what
vibe.
it feels like. See, that's...
Ooh, let's chant our pain.
See, that's what it... Because it's this, like, politicized view of abortion that automatically, when you talk about it, it's a sensitive subject. So everybody kind of puts on a little bit more sadness, it seems like, to like make it a better conversation, or seem like you care, or like you're into it, and so I think they're really just caught up in the sauce.
I want to do that to everything.
I know.
I want to do that. I want to have that energy to everything. Because it's like, I guess we're talking about baby killing. So it's like, you got to have it, right? You almost wouldn't even blame them, but I don't know. I feel like I know a little better, but I want to do it to everything to see how.
Imagine one person in that thing laughing. They'll probably kick them out before they get in. One thing that was interesting to me is that what I liked is that the guy said, what made you think that it was the abortionist's fault or something like that? He says at the end. And
how have they failed you?
Yeah, how they failed you. Mm-hmm. I love that, because at the end of the day, also, it's like nobody forced you to do these abortions. Right. You know what I mean? Like, yes, they're lying and they have an agenda too, but it also seemed in this clip a little victimhood-ish as well too. And it's like, no, nobody forced you. They didn't fail you. You failed you. Yes. Or you fell for it. So you don't want to blame them, but you do hold them accountable. Like, hey, you guys lied, blah, blah, blah. But in that clip, it kind of felt a little victimhood-ish. I wanted to see.
Totally. It kind of felt like that from the get for me.
Yeah.
I have heard that like 63% or some type of majority of women who commit abortions on their babies feel pressured from somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
But feeling pressured from somebody else doesn't mean that somebody else is pressuring them. It just means that they feel that way.
Yeah, they feel that way.
And a lot of times these gals are in their heads.
Yeah.
And they don't want to, like you said, don't want to take responsibility, and they feel victimized and feel like victims, and everybody's treating them like victims, both sides. The pro-lifers treat the women like victims.
Yeah.
That was why I liked when Trump first ran.
That's a good point.
He was like, we're gonna punish the women too. And then he had to walk that back.
He walked that back real quick.
No, sure.
Yeah, I almost felt like also too, a big part of the conversation that's missing is what is causing you to get these abortions? Like you want to get some counseling, you want to get some mindset shifts that's causing you to run out here and keep on having babies and having sex and you know, with the wrong people, and you're not willing to take on the responsibility that comes with it. So,
exactly.
For sure.
No, and then on top of that, it's like you would never have been pressured or influenced by these abortion clinics if you were never showed up to the abortion clinic in the first place. These girls, the abortionist, I don't even know. There's too many
abortionists.
They've had these abortions.
Moloch worshiper.
Yeah, like 19 years old. One had them at 19, 3 at 19.
Reproductive health care provider.
That's too much. Dang. But one of the girls had 3 before she turned 19.
I think it was all in the age 19.
All the age 19. So all one.
How do you get pregnant that
in
many
one
times?
year? And then,
sorry, I'm still stuck on it. I'm calling them stuff.
And then the other one had one at 17, and the other girl had 5 abortions, and she seemed young.
Yeah.
So
the streets
are
calling.
Yeah. So it's like these, you know, there's a responsibility.
Streets are calling. Did that one girl say I was a worker? What was she saying?
Yeah,
about
she
that?
did say something.
What
about
kind of
working,
worker?
didn't
She worked in the clinic as well.
Oh, my bad. I misunderstood.
The black gal or the
white
white
one.
Scary? Which one?
The white one. That one.
Okay.
She said she worked in the clinic, and I actually have a clip where she explains that coming up here next, unless you guys have any other comments
I
on
can
that.
save it to after.
It is that melodrama. That melodrama doesn't help.
There's
something to that. I want to jump in with this
go ahead.
because the pro-abortion people who are just shameless about it and just matter of fact about it. There's something refreshing about that, and it would be refreshing if the pro-life people could be non-emotional and just matter of fact about it.
Right.
And you can say what it is without adding that feeling to it.
Here's where from live action, same interview. Here's where one lady shares her experience working at the abortion clinic, the white lady, and how they lied to her.
How do you feel the abortionists failed you?
Because I worked behind the doors of Planned Parenthood, and when I started to work there, they trained me to change my vocabulary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they told me never use the word baby on abortion days, fetus, mother, father. You tell the women it's a sack of tissue. You never let them see the ultrasound. But I was the one that had to look for the body parts. I didn't know when I assisted the first abortion that I had to look for body parts. I seriously, with my whole heart, thought I was going to look for a sack of tissue, because that's what I was told before my 3 abortions. But to my shock and my surprise, there were babies, right? And so immediately I thought, they lied to me. They failed me, you know? They convinced me to kill my children when they told me they were sacks of tissues and clump of cells. They denied me the right to see the ultrasound. And so I had to heal from that.
I personally never heard it called. Has it?
Sacks of tissue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
that.
I think doctors are quite descriptive. You know what I mean? In the first trimester, the fetus is going to look like this. In the second, it's going to look like this. It's going to look. I think doctors are quite descriptive.
When you went to the abortion clinic, is that what they told you?
No. I'm just judging.
But I wonder, though, that's a good question. I wonder, what are they really saying? Because she's saying that they're saying that it's a sack of tissue.
Yeah.
There's a fight over laws that say you have to give the woman an ultrasound, let her see the ultrasound first before she makes the decision to commit the abortion. And so there's a fight over that law, because that law shows them the ultrasound, so it's a recognizable as a human being. And that would discourage many of them, probably.
Probably cuts down 50% of their abortions.
Exactly. See, that's why I was thinking. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I was like, wow.
No, but that's what I was thinking too. Is that, like, if that's true, what she's saying is that they're not being entirely honest, or they're changing the terms from whatever to
especially for younger women.
Yeah,
like younger ladies who don't know or think about it.
Especially if you go into the abortion, and this is why I believe it to be true, because if you go into an abortion clinic, you're already going there letting them know that you might be interested, right? And they're a business too.
Yes.
So in business vocabulary, you're going to
sell it.
They gotta sell it.
Yeah.
So saying sack of tissue is more advantageous for them than to say baby.
Of course.
So they're a business at the same time. That's why it's believable that they could be twisting. And it also depends on who's working there, who's in charge. Is it a woman? Is it an honest woman? Is it a man? So all these things, I think.
A lot of times people get cold-hearted, so they probably, in many cases, they do know that it's a baby that they're killing.
Who, the women?
Yeah. But
that's kind of what I was getting at. I was judging.
But but think about it. They say that our brains aren't fully developed until 25, and I don't necessarily believe or care about that much.
Right.
But the things that you do at 12, 13, 15, 16, 18, 19 is so immature.
Yeah.
Compared to that you don't even think about, but you wouldn't do it at 30 or 40.
That's a good point, especially nowadays too.
And so they exploit that youth and it's not just youth, but sort of not really thinking about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because people are just cruel to one another as kids sometimes.
Yeah.
When I say kids, I mean like adolescents.
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous that this even is happening.
Yeah.
It's almost like, okay, whenever something, I learned this a long time ago, whenever something doesn't make sense, there's somebody's making money, right? Whenever there's something weird going on, behind the scenes, somebody making money behind it. There's a business there.
Yeah.
So all these women are getting these procedures, destroying their bodies. You don't even talk about the amount of cancer risk that shoots up after these abortions. That's something that's not widely discussed as well. Your cancer risk goes up. Your quality of life decreases. We're not even talking spiritually, what happens to you when you decide to take the life of your child. You're going to go through a grieving process because you have lost a child.
Yeah. Why do you think that the women who go in there in the first place? Because, like, they already know what it is. They know that this is the abortion clinic. They know that they're looking to get an abortion. But why do you think that they're so easily influenced to get it done? Why do you guys think?
Easy reset button. Who wouldn't press it? Given to you like that, the whole society's, and I'm not absolving anything here.
Yeah.
But the whole world tells you, look, here's your reset button, and it's your right. It's a woman's right. Press it.
point.
You can have your life back, or I don't know, whatever they tell themselves.
That's an interesting point.
How many of us would press a similar reset button?
No, but it's a good point because it is pushed as it's not a big deal. Hit that reset button and you'll be fine. And then you walk into the abortion clinic, and I guess I don't mean to laugh, but you walk to the abortion clinic.
Yes, you do.
Oh, I'm laughing. But you walk into the abortion clinic, and they're so nice and friendly, and they like position themselves of love, right, and comfort.
Your friends.
Your friends, and then they tell you.
Don't tell your parents.
Don't tell your probably, and then they also tell you things like it's not a baby yet. It's a sack of tissue, so it's not a big deal. Because I guarantee most of the women who go in there, especially the young ones, are scared.
Yes.
They're already regretting it. They're already wondering if they should do it or not.
Yes.
And the company, it probably has to make them feel comfortable. They're probably taught to or trained to make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Walk them through this process so they feel comfortable.
Make them feel like they're taking out a wisdom tooth.
Right. Make it feel right. Dissolve it down to something as little as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I have a couple things. The lady, the broken-voiced lady who got an abortion herself and also became an abortionist.
Yeah.
She said that after she'd committed her abortion, she became gung-ho for it. And I've overheard others who've told Jesse before that some of them who have done abortions get so pro-abortion after that. I don't know if it's because of the guilt, in order to fight against the guilt and just kind of push it down, that they're militantly very pro-abortion because they've done it.
100.
It's crazy. And you think about, I have a theory. There's these whites who think that abortion diminishes black violent crime and black crime because it's killing babies, fewer young people. But I have a theory that it increases it because think about women who've committed abortion. They become more like heartless and cruel. And a lot of times these women are mothers already. So they're heartless, cruel mothers raising young children without fathers most of the time.
The spiritual.
So of course they're going to be like violent and crazy and not care about one another.
Yeah.
It's lives.
Because you're saying that the people are talking about the physical side of it to where you think it's going to cause less. But spiritually, no, these people are becoming more angry, more upset.
The babies who do survive grow up to be nasty people because they're raised by nasty people.
It's almost poetic. It's almost like like some kind of Greek myth or something that you have this specter that follows you. No, it's fine. I swear, I'm pro-abortion. It's the right thing. It's almost poetic. Like you're fighting so hard because you feel guilt. Like some part of you knows you try to get out of something, or
you know you're wrong.
Yeah,
you know you're wrong.
And you have to push forward that agenda because what it is it becomes a worldview that you have. And if someone is anti-abortion, then they're anti your worldview, which is you, because we know about the identifying with things, and so you start identifying with that, and then that becomes you. So if somebody says no, abortion is wrong, you're saying I'm wrong.
Yeah,
that's why these women start attacking, like that guy who was on the Fallen State, Eleazar or whatever.
Yeah,
he held some pro-life sign, and some woman like physically attacked him.
That's what's so crazy to me is that like, when does, and I guess all people fall, for lack of a better term, victim to this mindset of not seeing how crazy that is, like how crazy something is. Like, how does anybody get that upset that someone has a sign that says, you don't have to do it, right? You can go do your thing, but how is it so serious that now you want to, that's what I'm saying, it's the identity thing, but it's just so interesting that the mind doesn't say, wait, hold on. This is, why do I care so much about this thing?
That's why I tell women,
your ego.
Don't worry your pretty little heads about politics.
Yeah.
Just trust us. When you're given a choice, then you're given a dilemma. And that disturbs your peace sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
you don't
especially
know what
with
the right
women.
is. Yeah.
Take the choice away from them.
Yeah. Base.
Right? It'll be more
I like it though. No, it's true. And
whether you like it or not.
And this last one here, the same lady asked the abortionist if they could see they were actually killing babies while they were performing the abortions.
I have a question that I've always wondered. When I had to look for the body parts, the 5 pieces of the baby, the first time I knew that was a human being. Like, the scales fell off my eyes, and I was literally in shock. And the abortionist came in to make sure that everything was in the Petri dish, right? This big dish that we had. And he was whistling, and I remember him saying to everybody, what are we all gonna have for lunch? When before this abortion, he told me to tell the young woman it was not a baby, it was a sack of tissue. And I remember screaming inside of myself, how can he not see what I'm seeing? Mm. And my question is, could you see? Could you see that those were babies?
I can answer that for myself. I cannot speak for any other abortionist in the world. Did I know those were human beings? Absolutely. I didn't care.
Okay.
I did not care.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, shoot. So at the end, she just like this crying, right?
I love his response.
So, yeah.
That's real.
What do you think?
I absolutely love his response. He was just like, look, I'm evil, and I knew exactly what I was doing. I'd rather deal with somebody like that than to deal with people lying and pretending like they don't know what they're doing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or even like a guilt-ridden woman who's like overly dramatic about it.
Yeah.
Because it's done.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah. Because
not everybody.
I don't know if you had something there. I'm laughing. No, but and we're laughing. You made me think of it.
I even liked her story about the guy came in whistling. What are we gonna have for lunch? Because you become callous to whatever you got to do, whatever you're doing.
For sure.
Well, I want to play the devil's advocate with that a little bit because I think that is it necessarily wrong not to care? Because I find that him saying that he doesn't care, it also means he's not overreacting either. So I question whether caring, the other side of not caring, because I think I don't think you should care. Mm-hmm. Because when you care, you overreact. Like, for example, if a person is raped, a woman is raped, because of their overreaction to the whole situation, makes them want to delete, reset button. Because in their mind, it's like, I've been raped, this is so bad, this is so demonic, they just want to do. Now, maybe there's exceptions to where it's exceptional to get rid of it for whatever reason, right? Mm-hmm. But not every time calls for an abortion, right? You can see it through, right? It doesn't mean that it can't be fixed or work out. But I feel like caring is the destroyer. Emotionally caring is the destroyer because it makes you overreact and want to just be done with the situation and get rid of it. So I don't think that necessarily he was entirely wrong for doing his job and not caring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe there was an evil in there where he didn't care about, he just wanted to make money, right? But I think that as a man, he's not supposed to be, oh, this is so sad, especially if he has a job to do. You know what I mean?
It's going to be fake anyway.
There's a part where it's like, I don't have love, so I don't care because I don't have love.
Right.
And then there's a part that I'm saying is that I don't care because I have love.
Yes.
Right? And that's the part that I think that the women, this whole panel is missing, right? Because this whole panel is just like, that's so evil. You're so wrong. Yeah. You should care. You should be sad. You should cry like me. Right? That's what they're saying.
But what is care? So let's get into that.
Right.
So what you're describing is the care of emotion. So that's what's going to lead you into all the that could lead you into overthinking the situation, overreacting to the situation, and not really assessing it properly. So I understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's why I said also too. I said I have to watch myself.
Right.
To sit through it because listening to it was disturbing my ego.
Yeah.
And you got to just sit through it and let yourself watch it because if you can't look at evil, it's because evil is in you.
You know, it's another point too, is that like for me, not having children, I could be more separated from it than maybe you who've experienced it, right?
Yeah.
So it might be a little bit easier for me to say like, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I asked you is that what is that like because you have it? I mean, you said you have to check your ego, but yeah, what is that like considering you have 3 kids?
Well, yeah, I just have to.
Maybe I didn't have to say how many you had.
No, you good. Having kids, it's the same sort of thing. I have to watch myself to make sure that I can look at evil in the face. Just like I said earlier, if you can't look at evil, it's because there's evil inside of you that's stopping you from seeing the evil. So you have to be able to look at it and see it is wrong, what's happening, but not hate what you see.
Yeah.
And that's something definitely learned from Jesse that's helped me out over the years.
Yeah.
Hating what you see causes you to become like what you see.
Yeah.
Or you either become more like it to overcome it. That's also a bad thing. But yeah, for sure, it's a nasty thing when you hear it like that. So it's just it's shock to the ego just to hear it.
And what makes you relate? Like, what about you having children makes you more understanding to this? What is it about? What is it about it?
Because you see your children grow up. You see them in your image growing up before you, and to think that they could have been snuffed out if you would have been convinced, and especially me within our situation, I was told that we probably should go ahead and do it. And to think that if I would have listened to that, you know, I wouldn't have my beautiful children that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So that's what makes you kind of go like,
Question,
It's an extra temptation.
I get that.
Like it puts you into your imagination about some person that you identify with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's like a temptation to judge. It's not even necessarily. It is sort of adding to understanding, and like you care about it on a deeper level.
Right.
But caring is judging though.
Yeah.
So that gal who's like breaking down crying can hardly hear this guy who said he knew and he didn't care.
Yeah.
Like that's tempting her to judge the abortionists.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're not going to help anybody. You're just going to increase the separation, taking sides.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just so you're saying that with her caring is not allowing her to see what?
It sets you up to judge the people
Yeah,
as baby killers
Yeah.
and look down on them and hate them, even though you are the same thing and you're just in a different situation now.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that's the setup. That's why I said the care is the setup, because it makes you demonize these things.
Yeah.
And when somebody else is not sharing what you're feeling, then you think that they're evil or wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, but in actuality, I like, maybe the abortionist realizes he was wrong for doing it. That's why he's at that table, whatever.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that he had separation there, because you should be able to go eat. Even if you're wrong, even if you're wrong, you'd be like, okay, I was wrong, but it should now upset your day, right? Like, you don't have to overreact to these things, yet the justice is still served.
Yes.
Like, say if somebody has to go to jail, they have to go to jail, but you don't have to feel bad about it and like beat yourself up so you can justify yourself for doing the act.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
it's like we think that we're helping the process by adding the emotion to it.
Yeah, true. That's not what repentance is.
Yeah, exactly.
Beating yourself up and it solves itself. That's true.
Yeah, just let it be.
These people aren't careful. They're going to turn this into a sick thing where they like hearing about babies being dismembered and stuff. They're gonna get a thrill, if not already, because the way they even talk. Like, tell me how they did it. And how
Like the
did you twist
Chomo
it?
haters.
Like the people, I was saying this too. I was pointing out how you know how these guys go around filming pedophiles or whatever. They like meet them online, then they meet up, and it's some big dude and some big guy with a beard. He's like, "Hey, you were here to meet a 14-year-old girl," and they start putting them online and all that.
Yeah.
Have you seen how they're like slapping them up now lately? Well, what was I saying about that? They'll go up to them and film them and be like, tell the camera what you wanted to do in detail. And you wanted to do what to her? Where? How? Tell me again. Say it slowly. Do it. Like, what the hell's wrong with you, bro?
Damn.
Taking matters
At some
in your
point,
own
you
hands,
liking
too.
that.
I
At
know.
some point, exactly.
Judging
It's
the
crazy.
PDFs.
Yeah.
Don't judge the PDFs.
But we're canceled, officially canceled.
I'm telling you, we talking about abortion, grapes. We talking
I
about
know,
all.
What's next? No rights for women. What else?
But the real question that I have, though, that I'm wondering is, where is the father figures in any of these women's lives, though? Because where is the love that any of these young, the young, they seem young, who are having these 5, 3, 2 abortions, 17, 19. Like, where's the dad at, and where is the husband or the boyfriend in these situations? It's never really. I guess the white lady said she had to forgive her partner.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't know if that.
We know he a partner, so we already know what that is.
But forgive her partner for what?
Right.
Forgive her boyfriend.
Right.
Or
I
whatever,
wanted
for
to,
what?
yeah.
Because is she kind of blaming him for her getting the abortion?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yes,
get
she
that
is.
there's sometimes
100%.
men who encourage it, or men who don't want to. Hey, I know that abortion is an option, so I can wash my hands more easily of it.
Yeah.
Everybody
That's
washing their hands.
that's the victim mindset I was also, it was kind of obvious that, yeah, they're saying truthful things here, but from that lady specifically, she was more like, I had to forgive because you guys failed me. It was more like pointing the blame, but not like taking responsibility for, you had all those abortions.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's something interesting about this sample size. Wait, what happened? Is it two black girls and a white woman?
I forget what the one on the far right was.
No, 2 white and a black.
Yeah.
I thought it was just interesting. Do you have another clip or something?
No,
can
not
we show
that,
it like a
not
still
that.
of the beginning
see if
clip?
I
You
can-
want to see them? Okay, let's see.
I thought it was interesting because
wanna
I
judge
felt
him.
like two of them.
Yeah.
Baby.
I felt like
The
two of
first
them
time I knew.
I got
had a
pregnant.
more like
Okay, yeah.
had a more like. See, the one on the right reminds me of this. Tell me if I'm saying something off base here, guys. But I'm thinking of. I'm not naming any name. I'm thinking of two women I know growing up that had abortions, and she got this one on the right. Kind of reminds me of
On
her. a
your
little
right
bit.
or on our right or their right?
The one in the green.
Okay, yes.
And in the one in the middle, those two, they had like multiple abortions, and the one on the other lady who started with Planned Parenthood, she had like one. It sounded like different. They sounded like different. I don't know how to put it. Like
I thought
they're more ghetto. The other two.
Oh, I thought
I don't know how to put it.
I thought the one.
And
with
all the girls I knew that had abortions growing up, they had this mongrelized kind of ghetto culture. I don't know how else to put it. It was like low class.
Yeah.
It's a type.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I'm
because-
also trying to say that this whole abortion thing, it's like a mongrelization of culture. Like, oh, look at what these people are doing. Let's adopt that instead of it the other way around, where the normal people affect them. It's like let's adopt their ways.
Oh, like let's accept their way of the reset button. Let's just adopt that idea.
So you're saying it's a class thing, Nick?
I don't know about that. Now I sound like Karl Marx or something. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know anything about that, but I just get this impression. I don't know how. I don't know how to really put it into words.
Like the low end culture has spread, and it has spread into like everybody.
And the academic ideology
Yeah.
wants to splice that into normal culture, and it's just a mongrelization of that culture. It's like we're
What's
seeing it to make something low to
mix and
makes it
cheapen.
less pure.
Okay.
I guess maybe I'm misusing that term.
No, I kind of get you now.
And it's a way of making something so immoral fashionable.
Like black culture, like the worst parts of black culture, and
Right.
some of the nice music has gotten into the rest of the culture.
Because and they made it a fashion trend.
Yeah,
It's like a fashionable thing.
That's like it's they
Abortion is fashionable.
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah,
Big time.
essentially.
that's interesting. Yeah, I can see that
Ooh.
for sure. I have another thing I want to get to, really quick. Is in topic of where the father at, where's the love of the father, where the boyfriend, where's the men at, and on the topic of what Nick is saying, the Mongols, the Mongrelization.
That's awesome. I'd want that.
Of society. No, it's true.
Mongol or mongrel?
I'm saying mongrelization.
Yeah.
But Mongolization might be kind of cool.
Are the Mongols? Is that a biker gang?
They were the Genghis Khan people.
Genghis
no?
Khan.
I mean,
Oh.
I'm ignorant. Like they still exist probably.
Oh, the Mongolian.
The Mongolians.
Oh, yeah.
This lady speaks on the proper way of how men express their love, and I want to know if these type of men that she's explaining were around, would this whole thing be a situation? So this is from Instagram. Her name is Jada Belle Podcast on Instagram. Woman speaks on how men are designed to express their love to women and others.
A man who is trying to teach his woman loves his woman. That's their form of love. They are natural teachers. They want to guide, they want to lead, they want to make sure that you are safe and you are mentally prepared for any enemy that is coming at you. Okay? So a lot of women are taking their criticism or taking their direction as a personal attack, when really it's their form of love. Men typically, from my experience, are analyzers. They analyze a person, especially the person they're with. They see your frame of thinking, they see where your weaknesses are, and they want to strengthen you. I'll go even further. When a man cares about a woman, he wants to protect her. And so, knowing how vulnerable she is to potential dangers, to the enemy, to predators, to threats out in the world, he is going to analyze her critical thinking and her mind frame. And if he sees flaws in it, he sees that you are naive in certain areas, he is going to want to fix that. He's going to want to teach you. He's going to want to make you stronger, more mentally aware, so that you're not a target for dangerous people and entities in the world. Okay? That's a good man. And that's one of the deepest forms of love.
Well, let's first talk about her fro. Bring Jesse in here to comment on that front.
Taking up a lot of the camera.
Wide angle for that one.
And she's using her inside voice.
Yes,
yeah. I don't know.
As a woman,
she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be heard in the other room.
Yeah. Her man in it.
Do you guys think that what she's saying is true about men in general first, and then we'll tie it together?
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely do. I mean, that's kind of what you may have heard me on my show today, Wednesday, talking about how I may have tried to help my girlfriend if I had one.
Yeah.
And she took it bad, but it wasn't real love. But I was trying to express love. Like, hey, I'm trying to make this work.
Yeah.
You got to be this way.
Yeah.
And she took it all hard if I had one. But so that is kind of true.
Yeah.
That men are trying to help fix the situation. Fix you.
I remember hearing what's funny about seeing this is that I'm talking about something that's so far away because this is like an instinct that was buried deep because growing up I'd hear men want to just fix things and that's not love. I'd hear that growing up. I remember hearing that, like, and when I got a girlfriend I remember thinking while being that way, oh, I'm doing that thing I heard where it's like I'm just trying to fix things. I don't know. I remember hearing that. But yeah, there was always like some sort of instinct in there.
I think there's just a natural desire to want to protect. There's a natural desire to want to teach. And what happens is, and why you do have, in my opinion, all these abortions and stuff that happen is because the women reject it, right? And there is a false way that men go about it too, because it's like a false posturing of love, but which is what I found.
It's a selfish version.
Yeah, it's like a judgmental, like, oh, I don't like that, so I want you to change that because it'll make me feel better.
Yeah.
If you were a better
I want to
version.
trying to make it work.
Trying to make it work, opposed to being an example, and when the time asks for it or when she asks and goes to you, you're able to have the right answer to give.
Yeah.
There is something special about a guy being able to give that because she genuinely wants it, and he feels good about giving it because he is passing that on to her and she respects him for that. So there's a good way to do it. But I do find also that women, there's two sides. I'm trying not to be long-winded, too late. There's two sides. There's one side of the woman rejecting that because she doesn't want to feel less than, feel weak, feel dominated, and she wants to be equal to the man. So she'll reject it, and then she'll go out and get 1,000 abortions and do all that stuff. But then there's the other extreme of the man who wants to be dominant, enforces dominance, and look like an alpha male, and correct and criticize and change and control. That also is the same thing. So somewhere in the middle, we need to figure out what that is. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and let me say, I have a little bit of experience with this.
Yeah.
It's a little deep for me. Because, I mean, before hearing Jesse's message, I think, man, I used to just, like, be on my wife. Like, we need to get this. If we get to the next level, we need to do this. And it just did not resonate. So, there's certain things about men that we like to do. Like, we love, on average, like, physical discipline. We're orderly. We're, like, folders in the right category, list. And sometimes that doesn't always work with women. So, you can get into conflicts. And what I had to learn about myself is I needed to watch and make sure that I was doing things out of love as opposed to doing things so that I'm trying to make her be something that I envision. So real love allows growth, and it doesn't have an expectation on when that time frame is supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, let me ask, do you find that in your marriage, setting the example is the best way, the best teacher, or when she goes, or when she criticism, or when she goes to you type of thing?
It's a very delicate balance that requires you to be in tune with your family and with God so that you'll know when to speak and when to just practice.
Yeah.
And knowing that balance is going to be personal for every individual. So there's no need in kind of trying to throw out a formula.
Yeah.
Because God may tell you, no, you need to speak up right now.
Yeah.
Or you may see, I should rephrase that, you'll see when you need to speak, and you will see when you need to just be quiet and work.
Right. Let the moment dictate what should be
Being present is the most important thing.
Yo, huh?
Go ahead, go for it.
Sorry. Oh, I was just thinking, I was maybe even gonna ask, like, does it seem like real love in a marriage is like the opposite of everything we've been taught and seen? Like, how to act with her? It seems like what they would call very unloving is what you should do.
Yes, it's so strange. Catherine and I have been going through a period where we are learning how to really love each other, and not in the whole fluffy, emotional kind of way, but in a way of, I want what's best for you no matter what happens, no matter what that does to me, no matter what happens, I put you, and I want you to grow and be where you need to be no matter what happens. And so I'm struggling with how to exactly put it because it looks so different day to day. But the most important thing is that you watch yourself and that you have no expectation of the other person. Now, that sounds ridiculous, right? How can you have a relationship where there's no expectations? But if you do it right, it forges this beautiful dance that happens when two people are walking selflessly with each other. And you come together. And it's just amazing to see. Yeah.
You know, I heard the same thing growing up sometimes, from Christians, by the way, that Nick heard about women. Women don't want you to fix their problems. They just want you to listen and hear them.
Unless they ask, really.
But that's kind of true. You're right. It is kind of true. Or you just don't let them complain, or just don't hear it. Because sometimes they don't really need to be talking that much and complaining that much.
No, but it's like it's interesting because I know what you're talking about when you say the dance thing is because expectation really is.
You're married? No.
Not me.
You got a little side secret.
My wife is a had one.
TV. No, I'm just making
you guys
jokes.
think I'm not married?
No, let him think. Let him think.
But the expectation really is saying that I want you to be this way. So what that does is now when they're not, you're judging. You're just judging them, saying, "Well, I thought you were working on yourself. What? You know, and why aren't you not there yet?" And then it puts a time frame.
It's a weapon.
So it's like the best thing to do. Actually, love. What I've learned as well is letting go. So, like you said, no matter what happens between us, I want the best for you. Even if that means A, B, or C, right? That's love because you're letting go of the outcome that you may think you want.
Because your want is really just selfishness. It's really just you. It's just really the ego.
100%.
Thinking that you know what you want.
Thinking that you know what you want. Exactly.
Terrible.
I'm suddenly very self-conscious right now. I'm suddenly looking within all of a sudden. What the?
No, you know, I've also realized
you're married?
I know.
It's a line between, it's almost getting close to not caring about the person. And it seems really weird to say that, but you're getting to the point where you're just dropping that expectation. And it frees you both to be able to just, because the judgment comes in, all that stuff goes away when you drop your expectation.
You know what's crazy too about that is that not caring, since we're talking about it, actually brings you closer. That's what I'm saying. Because it allows for that dance as you speak to naturally happen because you're not controlling the dance. We're not controlling it. It's the light, right? It's the light working on our behalf. So as soon as we get involved with care, with expectation, trying to judge, trying to control, we're getting in the way of, we're trying to add our own steps. When they're already
You know
there.
how Jesse says, just let life happen? For so long I struggled with that, right? Because I'm trying to control things, make sure it works out, make sure things happen. But when you just let it happen, you'll be able to see everything you need to see.
Yeah. And it'll exceed your expectations on
rather than whipping and being like, I do this because I love you.
I'm beating you because I love you.
I just seen some old movie, and the dad in this movie, there's the daughter, the dad, and the wife, and the wife is all mad about something. And he's like grabbing her. He's trying to make her understand. She's like, no, I'm not going to listen. He's like, so you're not, I'm trying to tell you something, woman. You're not going to listen to me? She's like, no, I'm not going to listen. And he puts her over his legs, starts spanking her. She starts spanking her. She starts screaming. She's like, and it's like blood curdling scream. It's really funny. And then the daughter who's watching this goes like, Daddy, you spanked mommy. And he's like, you're darn tootin' I did. And she says, that means you love her. And then the mom looks up and she like has a face of realization and starts kissing him.
Oh, nice.
That's not making it to YouTube.
I know.
Hey, that's an old movie.
Huh?
That's an old movie?
It's an old movie. What was it?
Nice.
You're darn
interesting.
Back when boys
That's
were
right.
boys. And
a man who spares the rod hates his son and wife. It doesn't say wife.
I felt like watching that was like Uber banned for today. Like it's like, what is this?
You're darn tootin'.
Whoa.
That's interesting though. But yeah, I think that like you said, when you let go, there's a natural respect that comes there, and also, and then we do gotta end soon.
But I did jump over a lot of the fight that comes with that initially.
Oh yeah,
because we can get into that another time. I'll come back another time for that because the fight that happens when you start dropping that down and the enemy starts telling.
Oh, the fight inside, in between you and yourself.
That and also too between each other. That happens when you don't, because the enemy gonna say, he don't love you no more.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
He don't love you no more.
And that's what's scary for mostly the women, but for the men too. But women really dealing with that is because they look into that part. He doesn't care anymore, or is he cheating, or is he? There's all these things that play on her mind because you think he's not showing you, but no, he's actually loving you. You know, it's a dirty game.
Ooh, that's a big topic.
All right, we'll have to do a part 2. That's any last comments on any of that? The abortion stuff, the
movie's called Frontier Gal, 1945.
Frontier Gal.
I like it.
Well, right on. We appreciate you, Anthony, for coming in and speaking on these things.
You look like a wedding photographer. I never knew that about you. That's cool. He has this style. You have that
you
style.
See this style of
it. You ever take photos of couples that you're like, or maybe you're judging, whatever.
I was just talking with Kat about that the other day. Like, I was like, honey, you realize that 50% of the couples that we have shot, they're gone. We get messages sometimes like, oh yeah, we divorced, but thanks for the photos.
Oh, but hey, you still got the business.
The photos are dope though.
Before they developed.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you got to take them right when they say right away.
The one crazy thing was we got a call from a couple right after the wedding, probably like a week after, and I was like, yeah, we're done. I was like, dang, you didn't get through the honeymoon.
Oh. Did they pay for the photos?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys
they got dope photos.
I'm the type that I don't mind the memory, like the mementos.
Yeah.
I'll take I'll take the various gifts.
Yeah.
I almost rattled off a whole bunch of gifts.
Just to commit to
the chopsticks.
Make sure that
he's like, my registry is here.
Archived somewhere.
The Crocs. The chopsticks.
Okay.
Leave the wife. I got the chopsticks from the wedding.
Oh, man.
My last question, and then we got to end. How do we end this?
Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Hit the button over here. Subscribe over there. Ring the bell over.
I'm not doing all that editing with all this. That's not going to pop up over there.
Ain't nothing popping up. And the people are like, where? Just hit the button. Y'all know what to do. Bye.
But you didn't say to Punchie TV, but I'll put that up. Punchie TV.
I didn't know I was supposed to say that.
You have to subscribe to Punchie TV.
Oh.
But that's fine.
But they know they're looking at Punchie TV.
That's fine.
We'll put that in the edit. That little conversation.
Yeah, put that in there.
That's normally
That's the ending right there.
Oh,
I say, how do we end it? And I cut to the outro.
Oh, okay.
It's just a little tagline.